Welcome, everybody, to Georgetown, Kentucky, Bird's Nest Stadium. Usually I say beautiful Georgetown, Kentucky. Tonight is a night where I am happy, and I think Sam Sutton is happy to be in the press box. I'm Cal Oakes. We are here, Regent Championship football. Scott County coming in with a record of 11-1, coming off a win over Highlands. They took down two teams from the sister district. Now they're going to play a team they've never played, at least in the McKee era. The Southwestern Warriors out of Pulaski County coming up here undefeated, one of the few teams in the state that can still say that with a record of 12-0. And Sam, you and I were talking off the air. This is going to be an interesting battle. It's a kind of game, even if it's high scoring, could be a very short subject. We could be done in 2 hours because both these teams like to run it. It could be like an old 1970s Big Eight game here.
Yeah, exactly. Both teams, like you said, love to run it. Obviously, we know Scott County loves to run the wing T. That's what they do. That's what they're going to stick to, and they're always going to do it. Um, Southwestern loves to run the wishbone, believe it or not. Like you said, where we're going back to the 70s here, but they switch it up a lot, but it's still running. They like the wing T, they like the wishbone, they like the power I. A lot of sets that these kids may have never seen before. So it should be like you said, a very fast-paced game, but it's going to be a very hard-nosed game too. See who can get up after getting smacked in the mouth with those run games.
The statistics kind of bear that out. It's a two-headed monster for Southwestern. Tanner Wright has carried 160 times for 1478 and 24 touchdowns. Christian Walden averaging about 10 yards a pop, 108 carries, 1,040 yards, 15 touchdowns. It's more of a three-pronged approach on the Scott County side. You have Jacob Fryman, the fullback, closing in on 1,000 after a big game last week at a $160 up at Highlands, 890 for the season with 13 touchdowns. He's had the lion's share of the carries with 173, but then you've got the wingbacks, halfbacks, call them what you will. Ellis Hughley, 88 carries, 704, 10 touchdowns, and almost identical numbers from Thomas Fikert, 100 carries, 700 yards, 10 touchdowns. You mix in Kane Garrett a little bit as well, and this is a Scott County attack that looks as productive and as efficient as it has been in many years. Of course, this is the first time since 2018 that SC has been playing on this third weekend of the playoffs. Game like this, Sam, you've been in them. What do you think is the key? Obviously, cold weather. It's going to be hard to hang on to the ball, so that's got to be one factor.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Your hands get freezing out there. Your forearms get slick. It's got to be very important. Both sides of the ball, like we just mentioned, both teams love to run the football for ball security. And if you're on defense, obviously go for the tackle, but try to swipe at that ball as much as you can because in a game like today, one turnover could be the difference.
Your kickoff temperature will be right around 28 degrees, by far the coldest of the season. It was in the 50s last week at Highlands, and that was probably the coolest night that we've had. They were talking wind chill numbers in the teens. I didn't feel like that walking up here, but I didn't go down on the field and stand there for any length of time. So that could be a different story. Last week, we said turnovers. Scott County, if you count the block punt for a touchdown, they forced 4. They had 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and the blocked punt. One of the fumbles recoveries led to a touchdown. They had a safety on an interception, which you and I were talking about that off the air too. You had a little bit of home cooking there, but we're back here at the Nest this week, so maybe you can erase that from the equation at least.
Right. When you can win all 3 phases of the game, especially in the playoffs, you're going to win probably 98% of those games. And Scott County has been so good all year in special teams. And if they can get another block punt tonight or an interception or whatever it may be, I think Scott County is going to advance next week. But if they flip it around on them and you fumble a couple balls and throw a pick or whatever, you get your own kick block, we could be going home a little early.
McKee's got a memory like an elephant for this stuff, and he says in the history, he's been here 26, 27 years, only one time have they blocked a kick and not won the game, regular season or playoffs. It was against St. X in a playoff game. Might have even been a state final, I think he told me. And other than that, when they block a kick, good things happen. And I believe we're running a streak of about 4 in a row. They blocked one against Ballard. I believe they blocked one against Catholic, and I know they did in each round of the playoffs so far against Cooper and Highlands.
Yeah, I was just about to say, my whole childhood growing up, I felt like we blocked 100 kicks a game. It felt like, in the last few years, as you kind of mentioned, we've kind of gotten away from it, and our records have kind of showed that a little bit. But they're full blown back into blocking kicks and playing great special teams, and again, our record shows it. So
last time Scott County was in this round, I remember it was an equally cold night up at Simon Kenton in 2018. Cardinals won that one going away on the road, came back home and defeated Madison Central the following week. The way it's set up now, if they win tonight, they'll be home again next Friday night, likely against Bowling Green if all the favorites win, but a lot to be determined tonight. Bowling Green at home, Owensboro at home, and Douglas at home in addition to Scott County. So we will try to keep you updated on those scores. Some interesting matchups all through the state. And, the one thing I noticed looking at some of the matchups in other classes is a lot of teams that Scott County played are still alive.
Still playing, right. And we talked about that so much, about when you can play a tough schedule in the regular season, all it does is get you prepared for the playoffs. These teams that win 8, 9, 10 games in the regular season but don't play anybody, a lot of those teams aren't playing anymore, Cal. And the teams that challenge themselves, just like we talked about, even our opponents are still playing, so they know the importance of it.
No question that the strength of schedule has been a factor, obviously, in this game being at Scott County instead of down in Somerset, as their undefeated record, the Warriors come in, but just arguably not the same schedule. You look at Max Preps, which weighs strength of schedule there as well. Scott County ranked 4th in the state, regardless of class, Southwestern 11th. So that's kind of the tribute to what the Cards have done schedule-wise. They've beaten Franklin County, that's still playing in 4A. Lexington Catholic still playing in 4A, Bryan Station in 6A, Ballard in 6A. Right. So on and on it goes. Ballard's got a shot to get to the final, I think, in 6A, the way it looks. Bryan Station might have a tough time getting past Trinity tonight.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be.
I was talking to someone about that the other day, and I would love to know the last time Trinity had to play a road playoff game in the city of Lexington.
I almost seems like they might have a couple of years ago, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it was Station went there instead, or went to St. X or something.
Regardless,
that's again a product of that RPI, which isn't quite as generous. It doesn't weigh in your out-of-state performances, which for Trinity is a big part of their resume. So Trinity had to go on the road last week. Simon Kenton, speaking of going up to Independence.
Yeah, regardless, that's a great game there for Bryan Station and the city of Lexington.
Whoever won the toss deferred. I didn't see. Okay, Scott County's going to receive. So the Warriors won the toss, deferred the option to the Cardinals, who will receive going from right to left on your dial.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters for Scott County, because if we win, Coach McKee wants the ball, and if we lose, the other team always wants to get it in the second half. So no matter what, he gets what he went out there to do.
Last week, he had an interesting scenario set up potentially with the double possession at the end of the first half, beginning of the second, and the turnover on the 1-yard line kind of loused that up.
Yep.
As they lost a chance to score there. They did come out of the half and drive it for 9 minutes, 18 plays, not counting penalties. They overcame plenty of obstacles on that drive to score and really put Highlands in a bad way. That final was 29-23, so the Bluebirds kept fighting.
Yeah, Highlands, as we've mentioned so many times, that pride, you can't match that. They're not going to go away and roll over and die. They were going to fight till the very end, and Scott County outlasted them.
Due to an upset in the crossover district format, Southwestern had a rematch in the second round. They defeated North Laurel for the second time this season, 35-7. The officials are bundled up and huddled at the 50-yard line. The teams are waiting to come through their respective tunnels, and we are moments away from Class 5A Region Championship football. Scott County and Southwestern. Cal Oaks, Sam Sutton, James Scoggin in the booth and on the cold field with the camera tonight. We thank him for being here with us. We thank you for being here with us. We're looking outside, and we know some of you elected to sit this one out and maybe listen at home. So we're glad you're with us. We hope to do it justice, as we're expecting a great one here tonight. Cardinals take the field with the blinking red strobe lights.
Pretty cool entrance.
It is. You gotta love. We got the AC/DC Thunderstruck.
Yeah, if you're not ready to play this playoff game, then you should.
I don't care what the temperature is. If your heart's not racing a little bit, was good being down on the field last week, though. That was the one good thing about going on the road.
Yeah.
And it is a cramped sideline up there in Fort Thomas.
Yes, it is.
It's not a lot of space for the working media or for the teams, for that matter, and the
Yeah.
cheerleaders.
For anybody.
Crazy to see all the alumni that come out to a game like that, too. It's not Josh Davis up there, Colby McKee, and others. We know you're down there as often as possible.
Yeah, Scott County tradition runs deep, and we kind of say tradition never graduates, and obviously we show it every Friday night with the amount of alumni that comes back.
Logan Jones and Daquise Brown back to receive the kickoff from the Southwestern Warriors, 12-0 out of Pulaski County. Made the long trip up Route 27 for this one. Winner goes to semi-state. Scott County could host it with a win. Actually, either team would host it with a win, as this is a matchup of 2 versus 3 in the RPI. The Warriors about to put it in the air. Warriors wearing all white with dark numbers. That'll help. Caleb Moore is their kicker, a senior, 5'10", 155 pounds.
Yeah, I bet you love those uniforms.
Cards in the coal tops with the almost visible red numbers and the white bottoms. Here we go.
I got you.
Comes down to Daquise at his own 13. He's across the 25, ahead to the 30, spins, and he's stopped there, and that's where the Cards will go to work. Tackled there by number 32 of Southwestern. That's Logan Haynes. 1st and 10, right at the 30. Andrew Hickey crossed or met the 1,000-yard threshold last week with his performance at Highlands. He joined the likes of Josh Davis and Clay McKee and Ben Lawler as far as recent quarterbacks. It's hard to do in this system, and he's only a sophomore. Straight ahead to Fryman, bulls his way to the 33. Forward progress on 1st down.
We got our question answered real quick about Elijah Adams, what number he was going to wear this week. He's wearing 56 because he just pancaked a guy about 7 yards down the field.
We're always wondering. He's been in number 1 to start the season since he became an offensive lineman, starting both ways. He moved to the 50. Now, there's a big hole at the point of attack, and almost to the marker is Fikert.
Yeah,
He'll be stopped at the 39, 3rd and 1.
Yeah, that was a great stop by Braxton Walters there, number 30 for Southwestern, because if he doesn't tackle him, Thomas Fikert might hit his head on the goalpost.
That was a parting of the Red Seas at the line there behind center Daniel Daff. 3rd and 1. Hickey, quarterback sneak, 1st down. He did that on 4th down up at Highlands last week on that 18-play drive we were talking about. That's a play that doesn't always work on the goal line, but in the field of play, it's become increasingly effective.
Yeah, and the wing T, you have so many options, so that defense just really doesn't think he's going to have a quarterback sneak there. I mean, if he keeps his feet going right there, I think he could have got a lot more.
1st down at the 41. Hand off the front. Nope, it's coming this way. To the left side is Hughley. He'll get tied up at the 47, but a good gain of 6. Good fake by Hickey. Fake me out momentarily. They'll mark him at the 46, so call it 2nd and 5. Hughley's first carry of the night goes for 5 yards. Second and 5. This time it is Fryman. He is tripped up after a gain of maybe a couple.
Looks like maybe 1.
They'll mark him at the 47. Good stop by number 52, Colton Goff. He is a load at 5'9", 225, junior defensive lineman. 3rd and 4 for the Cardinals, closing in on midfield here. They've run 2 minutes off the clock to start this one.
Yeah, Southwestern's not going to be surprised by this wing T when they have to face it in practice every day.
Similarities are many with these offenses. Fikert on the sweep. He's got to make one man miss. He does. Gets the corner. 1st down and out of bounds at the Southwestern 45.
Yeah, great run there by Thomas Fikert. An outside linebacker was just waiting on him. It was unblocked, and Thomas had to make one guy miss. Put a little of a juke inside, went outside, beat him to the corner there for a first
I like
down.
Fikert in that battle every time as far as quickness and elusiveness.
Yeah, Tommy's going to run as hard as he possibly can. There's not a guy that's going to work harder than he does.
Coach McKee says he's the one guy on the team that probably gets the most out of his ability.
Yes, he does.
Quick pass to Brown. Good block there and gets him some room across the 35. Was that Fikert knocking the guy down?
I I think it was. There was 2 out there. He got 2 great blocks. But
that could have been for no gain, and Brown made a nice move to get it started, and then
right.
somebody got their clock clean, and ended up being a 13-yard pickup to the 32.
Yeah, DeQuise definitely made more of what it should have been right there.
Cards on the move, 9:23 to play first quarter. Fryman off the right side a little bit, not quite straight ahead, but gets good yardage to the 26. Call it a pickup of 6 for the junior fullback.
We say it every week, Cal, but if the belly can work like that, you're going to have a very hard time stopping the Scott County offense. Because when you get that many yards on belly on first down and second down, then you can get on these sweeps, and you're not stopping that either, because then you're going to have to overload in the middle.
You've got options when it's second and short. And here is one of those options. It's Hughley on the sweep to the left.
Ooh.
He got tripped up at the 20, but it should be another first down for Scott County.
Yeah, another great
number
tackle
30,
by
Braxton Walters.
Yeah.
He's only a sophomore, good-looking sophomore at 6'2", 185-pound linebacker.
Yeah, without that guy, Scott County may have already scored 3 times on this drive.
But Hughley with a pickup of 6 to the 20 at the red zone with 8:37 to play on the opening series. And that's going to be illegal motion of some kind. It's going to back the Cards up 5. False start. Can't have that. As we've said time after time after time, don't get behind the chain. Cards have advanced it from their own 30 to the Southwestern 25. 8:22 to play, clock running. Hickey under center. Straight ahead, Fryman across the 20, spins to the 17. That's what you needed when you get set back to 1st and 15, is a gain of 8 on first down.
Yes, it is. That was great misdirection right there. Even I think he had us confused a little bit. But that's what this offense has to do, Cal. If they want to be successful, this defense can't know where the ball's at. And Scott County runs it the best when that deception's crazy.
Fikert on the left, Hughley on the right, Fryman up the middle. Now Fikert in motion. Draw play to Fryman. Pulls ahead inside the 10 to the 5. First and goal.
Just like that. You get the defense thinking you're going to run that arrow that you just ran to DeQuise Brown. Gets those linebackers shifted outside of their gaps. Then you hand it off to Jacob Fryman and just let him bulldoze over some people for a first down.
4 chances to take the early lead from the 5-yard line for the Cardinals. Here comes Hughley, left side, gets to the corner, at the pylon, pushed out, just short. Call it at the 1. Number 22, Tanner Wright, saved the touchdown, a 200-pound senior.
Yeah, I thought they might have given it to him, but he was automatically right there waving it down at the 1. So
clock stops at 7:19, second and goal. Will Hickey run the sneak here again? Nope, he will hand it off to Fryman, and Fryman will punch it in. 6-0 Cardinals, pending the Ian Stanley extra point with 7:15 to play. Opening period.
Can't script that much better right there. That opening drive was exactly what Scott County needed right here in this third round of these playoffs.
Vintage Cardinal stuff right there.
Yes, it was. It looks like they might be going for 2 here, Cal.
Interesting. I don't know if they got a situation with the kicker or what, but they are lining up to go for 2. Not usually what they do right off the bat. Hickey rolls out, throws on the run, caught.
Wow, great catch.
He threw a bullet.
Yes, he did.
Who made the grab? Isaac York tosses the ball to the official. McKee must have seen something there. There has to be some explanation going for 2 this early, but puts Southwestern in an 8-0 hole with 7:15 to play first quarter. Yeah. Jacob Fryman, 1-yard run, caps a vintage opening drive, 70 yards, at least 12 plays. Andrew Hickey to Isaac York, who last week set the school record for receptions by a tight end,
which is
in
pretty
a single
surprising.
season.
There's been some great tight ends.
He's caught his share, 22, I believe. In of course, PATs don't count toward that total. You're right. Sometimes in this offense, you're more of a blocker at that position.
Right.
But, in this case, Isaac's been very valuable in short passing game, and
Yes, he
sometimes
has.
even in the long passing game. Christian Rodriguez, sophomore, the only non-senior starter in the offensive line, also the place kicker, done a great job kicking off here down the stretch. Put some teams in some bad spots and made them drive 80, 90 yards. He will try to do it again. He will drop that one on the 15. It's juggled in the cold weather. Southwestern picks it up, gets across the 25, sidesteps a couple more tacklers to midfield, and a great return for the Warriors as maybe the coverage overran it a little bit, seeing the bobble. And number 29, Christian Walden, and we mentioned is one of their 1,000-yard backs, takes it to midfield and gives Southwestern a short field to work with on its first possession.
Yeah, as hard as a run that was for Southwestern, that was more of Scott County just missing tackles right there. He, probably three or four missed tackles, just clear missed tackles too. But nonetheless, great return out to the 50 and gives Southwestern great position to try to tie this game back up.
Walden's an explosive dude. We mentioned averaging almost 10 yards a carry with 15 on the ground, and now they've got the full house backfield. They will run it hard off right tackle and a stiff arm across the 40 to the 36. It's Tanner Wright. He's closing in on 1,500 yards for the year, and right out of the gate, we see why these guys are 12-0.
Yeah, when how often as in a high school in 2022 do you see the wishbone? Almost never. So it's definitely be a tough task to stop this offense tonight, especially to get used to.
Under center is Roger Oliver. He hands it to the first man through, and there's a great hit, limiting it to about a yard. Ball carrier was Lucas McKee. No relation. And they'll call it a gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Well, actually a gain of 3 as they marked it at the 36. So 2nd and 7. He just put his head down and got a couple of extra yards there. It's hard to run into the heart of that Scott County defense when you're dealing with Keller and Adams.
Yep.
Not sure I see Keller right now. Not much on the left side for Christian Walden there.
Yeah, going to bring up a big third down here.
We'll get to the 31. It'll be 3rd and 5.
There's Cam Keller.
Paul Garner in on the stop. And yes, Keller's down there now. They've just got him lined up.
I think they're just going to try to.
A little different spot.
Right. A lot of different formations out of this defensive line just to try to confuse these blockers.
You've kind of got Gisanti roaming the middle right now. Kind of trying the amoeba defense look here, not really getting into a set. Now they will take a look. And close to the marker, and I'm sure it's 4 down territory as plunging forward to the 27 is the Southwestern ball carrier.
It's going to be about 4th and a couple feet.
We have a player down, slow to get up for the Cardinals.
That's not good.
I think it was Walden on the carry. I didn't see who the injured player was.
Let's hope that's not.
Hope it's not Harmon. It looks like it is, and we will hope for the best. He got caught up there at the end of the play.
Yeah, it's definitely looks like who that is, and that would be just
costly, to say the least. Definitely a hush over the crowd that is gathered here on this cold night with 5:15 to play in the first quarter.
That'd be an unimaginable loss for Scott County.
He is kind of rolled back over onto his back. I'm not sure if he kind of fell on somebody and got the wind knocked out of him or what. They're not really looking at his knees or anything.
That's got to be your absolute hope, that he just got the breath knocked out of him. He maybe got hit below the belt. Because any type of injury to a player like that, especially this late in the playoffs, would just crush you.
He's getting some help getting to his feet. Doesn't look too unsteady.
Maybe it's his arm. He does have a brace on that right shoulder, and he's kind of favoring it. That would be my guess, Cal. Especially, I played my senior year with a shoulder brace like that, and it can be very difficult. You get popped in and out so many times, and it's very painful.
And after the stoppage for the injury, we got a big play, 4th and 1 for the Scott County defense. and tripped up a big
Great
stop.
stop. Elijah Adams.
Elijah Adams, who else?
What a stop and what an individual play right there by Elijah Adams. We've called his name week after week after week this year, and he just keeps delivering.
Tackle for loss on 4th down. And that is a huge turn of events in this football game on the first
He shot in
series.
there like a bullet right there. He squeezed right between that line, got in the backfield, and just shoestring tackle for loss. Scott County takes over.
Coming at us this side, not quite to the 30. It's going to be Hughley. It's usually Hughley running this way, Fikert running the other way, and
Right.
Fryman running up the middle unless they throw us a curveball once in a while.
Yeah, a little misdirection every now and then.
2nd and 8, under the 5-minute mark of the first quarter. Fikert, right side, has some room, sidesteps a tackler, gets a couple of blocks, spins to the 34, and it'll be 3rd and 4.
Thomas just really couldn't make up his mind right there if he wanted to try to hit that hole and cut it up, or if he wanted to keep going outside. Kind of lost his footing, and it kind of hurt him because he started stumbling, and Southwestern caught up to him. Now this brings up a
This is where the Cards have done a lot of business in the playoffs. 3rd and short.
That stop right there might not mean anything if you can't get a first down here, because then you're just right back in the same position.
The toss coming this way. First down across the 40 to the 43. Thomas Fikert, we said once in a while they throw us a curveball. Fikert running left instead of right.
And that's just a classic Thomas Fikert run right there. Just cut up, put your head down, run over a couple people, and get the yards you need.
Back-to-back carries for Fikert moved the chains at the Scott County 43. Cards lead 8-0, 3:43 to play first quarter. Cal Oaks along with Sam Sutton. Regional championship at Bird's Nest Stadium. Fryman. Nope. Play action. Has his man. Oh, just through the fingertips. Daquise Brown was down there, but it was well covered. Southwestern didn't bite too hard on it like I did.
It was covered, Cal, but he had a step or two on it.
Had his man, and he didn't overthrow it. We've seen him do that a couple of times in the playoffs. He put a little air under it, which you need to do, but Brown just could not pull it down. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I love that shot, though, right there.
Puts you in 2nd and long as Southwestern almost jumped there. Now Hickey going to look to the sideline, maybe change the play. 10 seconds on the play clock. Toss. Hughley to the right. Cuts it back inside. 50, 45, down to the Southwestern 40. First down, Cards.
You want to talk about a pancake block right there, Cal. Christian Rodriguez got out there on that sweep and just put that guy 7 yards down the field on his back and let Ellis Hughley go to work.
That's 270 pounds of sophomore right there, Christian Rodriguez.
You couldn't draw that play up any better and walk through.
That sets up Fryman up the middle, spinning to the 37 for a gain of 3.
Down. Yeah. When you get 3, 4, 5 on first down, you're setting yourself up great in this offense.
That's what they have done the entire. If you look at last week, he had some longer gains than that as he punished some Highlands would-be tacklers. But generally speaking, that's what he's good for. 4 or 5 and just puts the offense in a good position as he does here.
Yeah, that's what you got to do at fullback in this offense regardless.
And another flag as somebody jumps, and it will set them back 5 yards, 2nd and 12. Second time in this opening quarter, the Cards have jumped and put themselves in a situation they didn't need to be in.
Yeah, just got a little ahead of themselves right there.
My adrenaline's running. I'm sure theirs is as well, and sometimes that's what happens.
Yeah, there's really bad false starts, and then there's one you can live with. That's one you can live with right there, just starting a little too early, trying to get out there on a block.
Fryman spinning. He's taken down after a gain of 5, but that'll give them 3rd and manageable at the 37. So they get back the 5 that they lost.
You have 2 downs here if you're Scott County.
Yeah, you're not probably going to punt here.
No, definitely not. And I don't expect Coach McKee to do anything wild either. Just run his normal offense and get it to 4th and manageable or get a first down right here.
Ball's at the Warrior 37. Hickey to throw. He will dump it off, and it's incomplete off the fingertips. And as we said, on a night like tonight, sometimes it's just hard to pull that ball in. Fikert, the intended receiver. 4th down, 2:01 to play first quarter. We'll see. You could, I suppose, elect to try the coffin corner punt here, but I'm sure the Cards will probably go for it.
No doubt.
There's so much confidence in this defense.
And you're on the other side of the 50, and I don't think I've ever seen Coach McKee punt on the other side of the 50 in my life.
I like that little hook to Isaac
Right.
York here that they've run all season long. They will instead run the counter left, cutting back inside to the 30. Should be the first down. Ellis Hughley.
Should be.
Cards think so. They're signaling. The marker looks short of the 30, and the ball is right on it.
Gave it to him.
Yes, indeed.
We just talked about that misdirection, Cal. You know, they faked it to about 3 or 4 different guys right there and gave it to him on the sweep. You know, when you can block that correctly, it makes that eye candy for the defense just so hard. And then by the time they figure out where the ball actually is, they're normally getting an offensive lineman in their face. And you know, it just causes lanes for that offense. And it's just so hard to defend when it's ran correctly. And right there, it was ran correctly, and Scott County gained a first down when it was much needed.
Timeout on the field as the Cards will use their first. .148 to play in this opening quarter. 8-0 Cardinals. If you're just joining us, long drive capped by a 1-yard plunge by Jacob Fryman. They went 70 yards, took them about 5 minutes, and then the 2-point conversion. They went for 2 right off the bat, and Andrew Hickey rolled to his right and found Isaac York with a bullet in traffic. 8-0. And the Cardinals driving again at the Southwestern Warriors 30. Back to action here. Hickey under center. In motion is Hughley. They will run it with Fryman. Fryman cuts back across the middle, makes a man miss across the 20, down to the 16, tripped up, but not before he picks up a baker's dozen. And the Cards threatening once more.
I think Coach McKee's doing a great job right now, keeping Southwestern on their toes, going outside, inside, play action pass. Southwestern just really doesn't know where the ball's going right now.
Cards just doing what they do. Fikert bouncing right inside the 15. Couldn't quite get to the 10 as he is hauled down from behind.
And that's still a great gain right there on first down.
Pickup of 4. Kelly makes the stop for Southwestern. Christian Kelly, linebacker, senior. Southwestern 12-0, but have they seen an offense as efficient and punishing as this one? Fryman puts his head down inside the 10.
Should be a first
close
down.
to the marker again. Would be first and goal if they have it. And where the side judge is coming in, it's at the 6.
We talked about it before the game, Cal. With both these teams running the ball so heavily, we talked about, you know, what's the opposite team going to do when they get hit in the mouth? How are they going to respond? And right now, Scott County's giving it to Southwestern, and
just winning the battle up front.
They haven't responded very well.
That is a physical, senior-dominated line. Toss, Fikert gets the corner inside the 5 to the 3. Taken down there by number 5, Mason Hibbert.
Let's see if Scott County tries to get one more play in before the quarter. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Coach McKee's waving them over to the sideline.
They can just drain the remaining 15 seconds and take the long walk. They'll mark it at the 2. They'll have 3 chances to punch it in from there. But after 12 minutes, the Cardinals in a good spot, leading 8-0 and threatening to score again against these Southwestern Warriors.
You know, Cal, with both teams being so run heavy and it's cold, it's a playoff game, the clock's going to run a lot quicker. When you get down 2 scores instead of 1, that is
big
such
deficit.
a difference. And so if Scott County can punch this ball in right here, go up 2 scores regardless, you know, that puts a lot of pressure on Southwestern, especially a team that's never played Scott County.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big, big moment in these playoffs. You know, you just got on a big bus ride over here. It's cold. this.
And then you got to hope for something weird not to like. Last week
Exactly.
they got up 14-0 on Highlands, and then that weird play, the interception that turned into a safety, kind of put the Cards on their heels for a long while and
Right.
let the Bluebirds back in the game. But you're
And
right. On a night like tonight on your own home field, that just seems like a different story.
that, and when you can go up by 2 scores, you're on your home field, you feel comfortable, you're loose, you can play loose. Southwestern, you get down 2 scores, you're on the road, big moment in a playoff game. Maybe you're playing a little tighter than you would. Maybe you try to open the playbook when you shouldn't. So again, these are huge drives here for.
I mean,
both
how many
squads.
times has Southwestern trailed this season? For one thing, they're
Probably not
12-0.
too
We
many.
know the Cards have had some come from behind
Right.
victories. I don't see that Southwestern has probably had many on its schedule. Fryman, right at the line, trying to push the scrum across. This official says yes, and it is a touchdown. 7 seconds into the second quarter, and pending the PAT, it's 14-0. And we will see.
Oh,
I
looks like they're going.
I don't think
again.
they're kicking tonight for whatever reason.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, hopefully Ian Stanley's good. Well, I see him walking on the sideline.
There are a couple of kickers on the roster.
Well, maybe I didn't.
They're going to go for 2 anyway. And they're going to run that little flip and throw and catch. 16-0. Eli Lilly to Isaac York. The old Glenn Covington play.
Yes, it is.
16-0.
And that was a good ball right there because Southwestern had a guy kind of in position there. That was a good ball and good catch by Isaac York. The result ends up in Scott County being up 16-0 with 11:53 left in the second quarter. And every point we just talked about, Cal, is coming to life right now. So we'll see how Southwestern responds, and we'll see what Scott County can do and try to keep their foot on the gas.
At halftime in 6A playoff football, Bryan Station 7, Trinity 7.
I felt a little sneaky about that. That is a hard playing bunch, and we know that, Cal. Scott County's down 20-0 against Bryan Station.
Yeah, that team's no joke.
No, they're not. And when you can have a great quarterback that they have that's so shifty and can make plays on the run, that's hard to defend, especially in playoff football.
No score in Woodford and Douglas
really?
Midway through the first quarter, at least.
I was going to think the opposite. That
end of the first quarter, 0-0.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say if Woodford County had a shot in that game, they were going to have to score a lot of points, but nothing's a little surprising.
That's one to watch.
Yes, it is.
Very interesting. Rodriguez to kick it off. Cards up 16-0. He scored.
Good kick.
And they've got to cover that. It bounces. It was going to die, it looked like, and then it rolled into the end zone. Man, they have done that a few times lately, and Rodriguez has perfected the art of it.
The great thing about it is that's about the end of Rodriguez's leg, is about, the 10 to the goal line. And it normally falls right in there, and most of the time it goes in, but sometimes it stays up right there and gives Scott County a great chance to go either get it or corner them down there.
Southwestern started at midfield on its first drive. They'll start at their own 20 on this drive, and the Cardinals have scored in multiples of 8. They are down 16-0. Are the Warriors? Good hour and a half from home, and on a cold night.
They're not just down, 14 points. They're down 16.
Now they've got to chase points if they do score. Quick pass, as you said. They mix it up a little bit. And now he breaks a tackle across the 40. They chase. Now the ball's loose, but out of bounds. That's a break for Southwestern as they will get it marked at the Scott County 41. But that was a quick 39-yard strike.
And it really shouldn't have.
Colin Hibbert on the reception.
That was just a quick little, like you mentioned early, Julian Edelman type throw just behind the line of scrimmage and just a broken tackle, and he got down the sideline. But I believe that was Buddy Collins that caught up with him and made a great play.
Thank God for Buddy's straight line speed there. As the first tackle missed, and that gave him about an extra 20 yards downfield before Buddy caught him. They're in the shotgun right now. They run the same play to the left side. This time Scott County's ready for it.
Yeah,
Garner is there along with about 7 others. He won't go down easily, but finally down at the 36 for a gain of 5. Caden Cunningham, 6'3", 190, junior wide receiver.
As hard as it is to hold on to the ball in cold weather like this, it's very hard to tackle in cold weather like this because you don't have grip, and it's very hard to get a hold of that guy. So as we've seen on both sides of the ball tonight, both teams are having trouble bringing offensive players down.
Yeah, your fingers are blue. They're not going to really lock on to some guy who's wearing pads.
And everyone's real slippery, and it's tough.
That's why that nothing at Douglas surprises me a little bit.
Right.
There's a toss and a lot of room on the right side inside the 30, pushed out of bounds, but it's going to be another first down for the Warriors.
Buddy Collins again.
Yeah, Buddy again with the speed to go get him and limit the damage. But Southwestern's on the move from its own 20 to the Scott County 27 in short order. 10:55 to play in the half.
Yeah, and you had to expect this out of Southwestern. They're undefeated.
12-0.
Exactly, they're undefeated for a reason. But if you're Scott County's defense, you got to put your foot down right here. Your offense has given you a 16-0 lead, and you need to keep it there.
Up the middle inside the 20 to the 19 is Christian Walden. The Warriors mixing it up as the Cardinals have.
This is what I just mentioned before. When you're down 2 scores like this, you start opening up your playbook. And we mentioned that they run the wishbone. That's their main offense. And on this drive, they've been out of the shotgun and everything else.
They've gone spread.
Right. They're already feeling a little desperate to get some points. So you can look at that however you want.
Obviously, a versatile offense here.
Right.
They've got some flexibility. This is Roger Oliver. That may be why they've played a couple of different quarterbacks.
Right.
As one may be the designated guy in the shotgun. Oliver in the gun's got plenty of time. He's got a receiver down there. Nice catch in the back corner of the end zone, and that is a Southwestern touchdown. Drop the dime over Danny Armstrong to Mason Hibbert.
Yeah, that wasn't bad coverage by Danny Armstrong. He just got his head turned around a little too late, and like you said, just a great ball placement and great catch in the back of the end zone there.
And now do they, as we said, chase the points and go for 2?
Looks like they're going to.
I think you sort of have they've sort of forced your hand to have the Cardinals.
They have. But it's still early, and if you don't want to right now, you don't technically have to. But it looks like they're going to.
You can keep it effectively a 1-score game here. If you miss it, it's a 2-score game. They're confident in their offense with good reason. They run it in to make it 16-8.
I feel like this is a middle school football game with these scores.
Christian Walden on the PAT rush. You're right. It does look a lot like you would see at that level. Always go for 2.
Always. That was a great response there by Southwestern.
Yeah, 26-yard touchdown pass from Roger Oliver to Mason Hibbert.
They completely flipped around what they do, and it worked. And as you could tell, Scott County's defense wasn't prepared for that. They brought out stuff that I would almost guarantee Coach Monty and that defense just hasn't seen on film. But it's playoff football, and when you're going to bring stuff out to win games, you do anything you can.
This wasn't going to be a shutout. We knew that. And I was expecting probably a high-scoring affair in one way or another. Weren't quite sure how we were going to get there, but the answer so far is a couple of long Scott County drives and a very authoritative answer by Southwestern.
Now I'll be interested to see, now that they've opened it up, Southwestern has, how Coach Monty's defense responds to it now that they've seen it. But we'll see what this offense can do first, see if they can get it back to a 2-score lead.
And on the return, I got distracted there. Somebody tweeted at me, Cooper Robb hit a half-court shot to win it for Eastern Kentucky tonight in a tournament game down at Georgia State. Wow.
That's my brother right there. Good for him. I love seeing his success.
Against the host team, Georgia State.
That's awesome. Been playing sports with Cooper since we were 6 years old, so that's awesome to see.
Half-court walk-off. That's awesome. Hand off here to Fryman. Lots of room across the 40. Still like a bowling ball to the 45. First down, Cards.
I mean, he didn't get touched till he was about 6 or 7 yards down the field right there. The Scott County offense is rolling right now. That's one of those there, Cal. You kind of wish Jacob Fryman was maybe a little faster. He might break that, but when he's such a bowling ball, I would take that any day at that position.
12-yard gain by the fullback, and just feed the big dog again. This time, Southwestern ready stacks him up at the 47 after a gain of 2.
And that's what that position is. I mean, we talk about it all the time, but that's just a bulldog back there that's going to lower his head and get 2 to 3 yards every time you give it to him, and he's going to take a beating and he's going to love it. And that's exactly what Jacob Fryman does.
2nd and 8. Just inside on Scott County's side of midfield. Hughley across the 45 to the 40 for a gain of 13.
That was a great cut up right there by LSU.
And he is just, it's almost like Southwestern's not quite ready for the cuts we've seen tonight a couple of times by Fikert and now Hughley.
I really am surprised that they're not stopping this Scott County offense a little better, just because
it's similar, but it's different.
Similar. It is, but you see it every day in practice, and obviously that's their head coach's philosophy on offense is to run the football. So you'd almost expect, I don't know.
It's a triple option of sorts, but it's options that are coming from different angles, and
right?
Just with a lot of different fakes.
And let's be just straight with it. Scott County's running it to perfection right now.
Yeah.
So
they are in late season form.
Exactly. You can't match that in practice, no matter how much you attempt to.
Yeah, your look team can do this all day, but
It's
you're not going
like,
to do it the way Andrew Hickey does and
Yeah.
the way Hughley and
Exactly.
Fryman and Fikert do it.
You just don't see the wing tee very often, and it's kind of like when teams try to play Army and or
Yeah.
whoever. You don't just see the triple
Georgia
option
Tech.
like that. Yeah, Georgia, old
Back
school
in the
Georgia
day.
Tech, right? You can see it on film and try to practice it as much as you can, but when you're getting cut every play and misdirection left and right and up the middle and play action, your eyes are all over the place.
You're getting dizzy at some
Right.
point.
And not only are you getting dizzy, you're getting hit in the mouth every single play. And some teams just don't like that, Cal.
Cards have used their second time out of the half, down to 8:34 to play in this second quarter. 16-8 rather. The Southwestern just
But as you
cut the lead in half.
As you mentioned, this is a vintage Scott County offense.
Every drive has been like that tonight. Hughley, 35 and out of bounds at the 32. Threw him out of bounds on the Southwestern sideline. I don't see a flag.
No, you know why?
Yeah, right there, right in front of the Warriors bench. But another good gain for Hughley.
That's one of those that if it matters what sideline it's on. If that's on Scott County's, they get it.
If you're the official over here, you're getting yelled at. Hey!
Yeah, right.
2nd and 2. As we've said, that is Scott County territory right there. Second and short. Fryman will cross the 30 to move those chains at the 8:18 mark.
And when you can give it to Jacob Fryman and know you're just going to get a first down when it's 2nd or 3rd and short, that opens up your playbook so much. And then when you just keep feeding, that's when you play action of the tight end or to DeQuise Brown for a touchdown.
Fikert, 25, inside the 20, puts his head down to the 16.
Another first down.
Fikert for 13 more. Hibbard, the first Warrior to hit him. It took 2 or 3 to bring him down.
The way they're running the ball, though, Cal, I don't expect too many play actions right now,
No.
especially this far down in the red zone.
I don't think you need to until they slow your run game down. You're picking up 8, 10, 12, 13 yards a pop. Here's Fryman, straight ahead, carrying a defensive tackle on his back to the 12.
I tell you something else. They don't do it very often, but if Andrew Hickey kept one of these, I think he would run for a long time.
At number 77, Devin LeClerc is a freshman, and he doesn't even have his weight's not even listed on here. I'm going to promise you it's 290.
Yeah, he's a big man. and he was on Fryman's back right there, getting carried a couple yards.
Hughley bounces off Rodriguez, cuts it back inside. Touchdown, Cardinals. 12 yards out, Ellis Hughley, and every time he touches the ball tonight, it's good for double digits, it seems.
Yeah, great run by Ellis Hughley, man. These backs run so dang hard. You know, they might not be the biggest or fastest or strongest, but you can't challenge their will to get in that end zone.
Cards 3 for 3 on offense tonight. With 7:01 to play in the second quarter, they'll go for 2 again. They're up 14, trying to make it 16 here. Warriors jumped, it looked like. Hickey trying to throw it. He throws it across his body, incomplete. No flag that I can see. So the conversion will fail, and it will stay at a 14-point margin with 7:01 to play. You hope they do have a kicker available in some form or fashion. I mean, we have Rodriguez on kickoffs, but all year long it's been Stanley.
Yeah, I've never
Taysir Jabbour is the backup, I believe. He's another player off the soccer team who has dressed all season long. He was on the sideline at the Highlands game.
Yeah, I've seen him, sometimes want to just go ahead and get up 8 real quick, or let's just, get 2 when we can, or maybe get it to a running clock. But I've never seen it just over and over again like this. So that does make you wonder if Stanley's okay. Hopefully he is, and Coach Makita saw something that he just wants to go for 2 this week. But if not, well, we just got an update on the Douglas game.
Sounds like Douglas scored.
Yeah, Douglas 7-0. You know, Cal, in most of these Scott County offenses, you always had a great tailback, or maybe even 2, or maybe even 3, and those are the big names on these teams. And this year, it's more of those big names are on defense, and like we just talked about, those backs don't really do anything special, but they are just, I wouldn't trade them for anybody because they run so hard, and they do exactly what they're coached to do, and they do everything the correct way. And in this wing T offense, I almost rather have a guy that can do everything the right way and run as hard as they can than some, flashy guy.
Davon Hart had the touchdown run for Douglas. 8 minutes to go in the first half there, 7-0. The Western Kentucky game should be getting underway at the bottom of this hour, so that may be the only other region final underway. As the Warriors pushed out of bounds at their own 28 on the kick return as Collins made the stop.
Just to finish up on the running backs, with all that being said, they still got plenty of talent back there. They're still very capable of being great running backs, but I just love the way they all work together, and they all block for one another like it's like they're running the football, and it's just great to see. And when you got running backs like that in the backfield, this offense runs to perfection.
Yeah, I feel like that's the ingredient that had been missing for a couple years in one form or another. And they'd had a lot of injuries the past few seasons too, on top of all the COVID complications and everything. So they've had 3 healthy backs, knock on wood, and they complement one another perfectly. In the pistol again, Walden is going to get wrapped up on the inside handoff. Keller hit him, and Jasante Harmon's back. He hit him too.
Yeah, that guy's almost unblockable when he's healthy. But this is a big drive, I think, for Scott County's defense, Cal, because
you get a quick stop. Maybe you can do something before the half. Plus, Southwestern has the second half kickoff.
And not only that, but Southwestern came out and did something a little different that you weren't expecting. They go down and score. You've seen it now. Let's see if you can stop it.
Coach Monty McIntyre has had time to take it in and adjust. Quarterback Oliver will roll to his right. He's got a man over there, but it's incomplete. Threw it a little bit wide. He had to dive toward his own sideline to get it and couldn't. 3rd and 11.
And this Scott County defense is used to passing. It's not like they just see a lot of runs or anything all the time. They're used to playing these big name teams, these city schools that love to run the spread. So this isn't anything new.
It's what they've seen all year long from the likes of Lexington Catholic and Ballard and Bryan Station.
Right. It was more of a mix-up for them to have to get prepared for the bone, obviously. So now you're just playing into their hands. So let's see if they can adjust to it. and get back into form.
This is not exactly passing weather that we're dealing with tonight. So you don't want to be in 3rd and 11, but Southwestern has Oliver, a little screen there to Walden. Got to make the tackle, and they couldn't. It's a 1st down.
Great move there by Walden.
He cut it back inside and got to the 39. Adams was there to make the stop along with Valencia, but not before the chains moved.
Yeah, Scott County covered that exactly how they wanted to. And, he just kind of dumped it down in the middle, and Walden just made a great run.
Good little chess match between two very good offensive teams right here tonight. High snap. Oliver pulls it down, hands it off, and tripped up almost immediately is Tanner Wright. He might pick up a couple.
Elijah Adams met him in the hole right there, and he's feeling it. I don't really normally see Elijah Adams feeling a hit, especially the one that he gives.
Yeah,
he's coming up a little slow.
He's walking. He's walking it off. I thought maybe that was Harmon for a minute because Harmon, we've seen him being a little walking a little gingerly.
Yeah.
In that case, it was Adams.
Yeah, these Southwestern running backs definitely run the ball just as hard as Scott County does.
They put their head down and go, and here they do it again. Not much there on the left side. Lunging forward to the 44 is Tanner Wright, where it'll be 3rd and 5. So Southwestern keeping itself in a manageable down and distance situation under the 5-minute mark.
That was a weird little tackle there. It was like both sides were preparing themselves for a huge collision, and no one really hit each other. He just kind of fell down. But nonetheless, 3rd and 5 right here. If Southwestern decides to run the football here.
They've got 2 split out to the right.
Got them on the
offsides. They got the hard count, and they'll get 5 the easy way. Be 1st down Southwestern at the 49. Thought maybe they were going to let them bounce back. Just a little bit too far over the edge, maybe a little contact there in the neutral zone.
And it doesn't help that pretty much the whole defensive line jumped, not just one guy. That's a tough pill to swallow there if you're Coach Monty. You got them where you want them, and they get an easy 1st down off a penalty.
Southwestern at its own 49 with a fresh set of downs. Toss play to the left. It's Walden again, tripped up at the Scott County 49. Coming in is Valencia again, along with Adams.
Yeah, that was great. Great team.
Tanner Wright on the carry, rather.
Luke Valencia took the lead block right there, and Adams came in and finished it up. That's good team defense.
Wright and Walden have combined for 2,500 yards on the ground this year. They are a dangerous duo, but as we have seen, the Warriors can throw it a little bit too. Their only score tonight was on a touchdown pass from Oliver to Hibbard, 26 yards.
A great ball, too.
Beautiful ball over the top, right in the back corner. Dropped it where only his man could get it. Straight ahead, right.
Is that Adams again?
Why not, right?
Yeah. About to say it wouldn't be much of a difference from all year. Yep.
Jacob Blair also getting an assist. 3rd and 7 at the 47. Call it maybe 6.
Clock's about to go under 3 minutes here. It's a huge drive for both sides.
Yeah, this is a big stop, and you can't give them a 1st down with jumping off here, but you'd certainly make it easier on them. Right. So you got to stay disciplined.
Stay disciplined, but be ready to fire off that line.
They're in the wishbone. They'll hand it off to one of the halfbacks who gets to the corner close to the marker, corralled there by Logan Jones and Paul Garner.
Looks like, right at the marker, they're going to give it to him.
Christian Walden got to the 41, and they will move the chains at 2:46 to go in the half. Southwestern trailing by 2 touchdowns, but on the move.
I talked about Coach McKee mixing it up greatly and keeping Southwestern's defense on their toes. Southwestern's doing a great job of – Coach McKee does it all out of the wing tee, but with different plays. Southwestern's running a handful of different sets here and keeping Scott County's defense on their feet.
So far, Elijah Adams is responsible for the only stop of this game by either team. It came on 4th down at the Scott County 27 on Southwestern's first series. Southwestern gets lit up there, spinning away from Adams and getting a couple more yards out of it somehow.
You want to talk about meeting somebody in a
My
hole.
goodness.
Elijah Adams he came to play, I tell you that.
Harmon cleaned up the mess as Walden did spin away and got to the 38, 2nd and 7. Under 2 minutes. Southwestern trying to use up all this clock, get that double possession going for themselves.
They might have to start opening up a little bit, getting under 130.
Here we go. Oliver drops straight back, avoids the rush, has a man wide open, but coming back to make a play on it. Incomplete, thank God. As he was beaten, but then the ball was underthrown a little bit, and Logan Jones made a nice adjustment.
What happened, Cal, was that was Buddy Collins' man, and Buddy fell down. So he was wide open, and Logan Jones just kind of faded over there.
Took the great circle route.
Right, he faded over from his side of the ball, and the ball just kind of floated. So they both went up for the ball, and
I thought, sure, my life was flashing before me. That was 6 points.
Oh,
and
I saw him fall down, yeah.
Coming in was Logan Jones to save the day, at least temporarily. Clock stops at 1:31. 3rd and 7 at the Scott County 38. Cards lead 22-8. 91 seconds to go in the half. Oliver in the gun. Throws it to the right side. Screen set up. First down across the 30.
First down, but that could have gone for easily 6 right there. So that was a good job, just getting him out of bounds right there.
Ball is marked at the 29, and the clock will stop at 1:21. And the Warriors have all 3 of their timeouts, so they can do whatever they want offensively here. That's an eternity in that situation.
They can, but they're still at the 30. It's not like they're inside the 10 here, so they need to get a little creative or try to throw it down the field a little bit more.
And a timeout, Scott County. As Coach Monty McIntyre will use the Cards' final timeout of the half at the 1:21 mark.
Yeah, I don't mind that timeout at all. Like you mentioned, they have all 3 timeouts. You're kind of reeling a little bit. It's 1st and 10. The clock was already stopped. Go ahead and huddle around. Get on the same page. You give them a break a little bit. Tell them the situation and get them ready to go for this final stop of the half. Especially when Southwestern's had them on their toes this whole drive. Try to figure it out real quick and get on the right page and get in the right formation and right set if you're on defense right here.
It is a Southwestern offense that definitely gives you a great deal to think about.
It does, because the way Scott County likes to play defense, it's almost like we're going to be in a run set when we're in a run set, and we want to be in a pass set when we're in a pass set, and Southwestern's kind of doing both out of one set, so that puts a lot of stress on this defense.
I'll give them credit. That's a lot for high school kids to an offense to learn and adapt and grow throughout a season and be able to do it all effectively.
Yeah, they have so many different formations.
Oliver drops straight back. He throws into single coverage. Jones is going to pick it. No. They had to, the receiver, Hibbard, had to adjust and make the defensive play and become the defensive back there. And I think more than that, it was just the cold weather again.
I'm going to be honest with you, Cal. I think it just went straight through his hands. It was almost like it was going to be too easy for him. And, man.
Logan Jones has been a busy man back there. He saved the day once and had a chance to end this drive here, and it just slipped through his fingers. 2nd and 10, 1:15 to play. Little dump off, tripped up. Nice play there.
Great play.
Luke Valencia knows for the ball as always. Comes in and gets Tanner Wright for a loss.
Yeah, Luke coming out of that hawk position, kind of dropping into his zone right there, recognized that little dump pass very early, came up before the blocker could get out there and got him by the shoestrings. Great play. And the clock's running.
Oliver running for his life. Scrambling. Keller chasing him. And now taking him down at the 27. Jacob Blair stayed at home and made the stop. It'll be 4th and long. Clock's ticking. They've got all 3 of their timeouts. It's ticked down to 32.6. And now the Warriors will stop it.
What a great play by Jacob Blair. He was kind of the spy on him right there. And once he started leaving the pocket, it was just him and the quarterback. And he kept him the whole way and made a one-on-one tackle in space right there. If Blair doesn't make that tackle, He has a lot of room to run right there, and that causes Southwestern a call timeout right here, and it's 4th down. So all the above, great play by Jacob Blair, and great coverage downfield because that was more of a coverage tackle there. 32 seconds left.
So you've got to get the first down if you're Southwestern, and then you've got to figure out how to punch it in the end zone with not a lot of time. You do have 2 more timeouts.
Yeah, that's the thing here. You do have your timeouts, so you don't have to go, crazy here. You can get the 7 yards you need and call timeout. But just how do you want to do it? Because Scott County's had good coverage when you try to pass the ball recently. I feel
Woodford County has tied it up.
I felt like if there was anyone going to score on them, it might be them because they've just scored so many dang points this year. But that Douglas defense is incredible. Here we go. They roll out.
Oliver throws it, has his man falling to his knees. They're going to call it incomplete.
Wow.
He thought he had it. I thought maybe he had it, but he was juggling it on the sideline.
I think they just straight up called him out of bounds, Cal. He just called him out, which obviously that's completely on the other side of the field, so we can't really see it.
Hard to make that grab tonight.
But he definitely caught it. I guess he just must have had a foot out of bounds. If you're Scott County here, do you try to run anything? You just take a knee, go to half?
I think you run a couple of plays and see. You don't have any timeouts, so you maybe run one play and see what happens. If you rip one up the middle for 20 or 30, then maybe you rethink it.
You don't have timeouts.
Nah, they're just going to kneel. 22-8 lead. You don't want to do anything silly.
Yeah,
that's probably the right call.
I agree. The only thing, if you had Scott Daniels, maybe try to throw a go route out here, but
indeed.
But regardless, Scott County goes into half up 22-8 with a great stand right there by the defense. And this Scott County team is fired up rolling into half.
22-8, 2-score lead for the Cards playing on their home field. 24 minutes away from another home date at Semi-State. Our stat man, Steve McLean, is on the road tonight, so I don't know if we'll get any live stats, but we will certainly talk to you at halftime about what we've seen so far, what we might expect in the second half, and look around at some scores and maybe talk a little bit about the past. What's the coldest game you ever played in, Sam?
I actually played in, I would probably say, the Henry Clay playoff game my senior year.
Yeah, I remember that was. I went up the press box that night.
That was like in the teens, I believe. Now, the coldest game I've ever been to is probably a tie of 2012 at Trinity in the state semifinal or the state championship game in 13.
Everybody says the 13 state final was like the Ice Bowl there at Western Kentucky.
If you went in the bathroom, there was about 30 deep in there just trying to get their hands unfrozen.
No space heaters in there or anything, but that would have been nice to have. Yeah, most of my cold weather memories are up north. I kind of came down here to avoid this stuff, but
good thing about Kentucky is you get every single season, no matter what.
Somebody down in the back of the end zone. I don't know if it's a spectator or I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing things. I guess they're just huddled down there trying to stay warm. What are you asking me?
What is your favorite game?
Oh, well, I've been asked about my cold weather memories.
That's got to be ridiculous.
And it's probably a tie, too. I can think of a couple. One, I was broadcasting, and it was not in a press box. It was at this place called Griffin Field, which is in Livermore Falls, Maine, and it's cut out of the side. It's like a hillside, and it's one of those, fields where you walk through. It's kind of like Highlands. You walk through the neighborhood to get to the field, and it's a nice little environment. My gosh, it was cold. First Friday night in November, which up there is like January here,
Right.
And, the wind's blowing 20 or 30 miles an hour, and there is a press box, but we weren't standing in it. My broadcast partner and I were in the top row, these ramshackle bleachers that felt like they were shaking as we were standing on them. And your knees are already knocking on top of that because your teeth are chattering, and you're like, I'm going to die here in Livermore Falls. But it was that was cold. And then state final 2008, what they do is they still play. The classifications have changed. They have 4 11-man classes. They're way too many, but they used to play. They used to have 3, and they would play them all on one day at the same sites. You'd have an 11 a.m., a 2:30, and then a 6. The 6 o'clock at night game that year, I swear it was probably about
Freezing.
12 degrees.
Yeah,
Just brutal.
talking about that state championship game in 13. I remember shout out to my great mother. She dressed me perfect, but I ended up seeing my sister running into her, and she definitely dressed not good, and I literally had to take 2 pairs of sweatpants off of me and give them to her just so she wouldn't freeze. So that should tell you how cold it was, that I was literally giving my own sister sweatpants just to put on over her pants. It was that cold.
Younger people are legendary for wearing like hoodies in the middle of
Yep.
summer when it's 95 and then t-shirts when it's 20 in the November and December. So yeah, sometimes you got to prepare and have somebody look out for you and take care of you a little bit. But
should have been the other way around, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't think so. Boy, it's just a shock to the system from the year we've had. We've had such nice weather. We haven't had to deal with any rain or anything like that.
It really hasn't been cold at all throughout the whole year.
Yeah,
even these November games have been.
And other than maybe
good.
the first week or so, there weren't any excruciatingly hot either. It was right,
beautiful
just
weather
right.
pretty much every single week.
So Scott County leads 22-8 here over Southwestern. They have scored on all 3 of their drives. Pretty typical Scott County stuff, I would say. Mixing it up with Fryman up the middle, Hughley and Fikert hitting the edges, and the occasional play action. But they haven't really done a lot of that. They've thrown it a couple of times on PATs, but for the most part, it's just been running it down the throat of Southwestern. They've stopped them twice, have cards. First on an Elijah Adams tackle for loss on 4th and 1, and then a big tackle for loss by Luke Valencia on 2nd and 7 here on the last series that really set back the Warriors and forced them into pass mode on 3rd and 4th, scramble mode on 3rd down, and a pass on 4th down that was incomplete. So Southwestern undefeated, but chasing the Cardinals right now. Scott County on a 7-game winning streak coming in here, trying to make it 8 and try to control their own destiny and stay at home on the road to Kroger Field, leading it by 2 scores.
Yeah, a couple updates and some big games. Boyle County's up 24-7 at half over Lexington Catholic. That's a rematch.
I kind of thought they might get some revenge tonight.
So did I, and it looks like, Cal, I could be wrong, but it looks like it's 7-7 at half in the Woodford County Douglas game.
Yeah, which is what it was in the Trinity Bryan State. The Bryan Station is now up 10-7.
Wow.
Over Trinity. We were saying what an upset that would be.
I hope they do. Man. Good for them.
Doesn't say how much time in the 3rd quarter. 36-yard field goal by Zach Gentry. As I said, I don't think much is going on in Bowling Green yet. The games would have just started. See what we can find.
I didn't even think about that.
Well, Bowling Green 10. I guess they started that one at 7 o'clock Central because Bowling Green's up 10-0 on South Oldham just at the start of the 2nd quarter.
Ballard's up 16-0 over Madison Central at halftime in 6A.
Louisville Central up 14-0 over Logan County.
Bullitt East is up 21-0 over Central Hardin at halftime. That's 6A, correct? I believe
that is. Looking for a Franklin County score.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
You playing down in the mountains somewhere? Johnson Central. No, they're playing Warren East, and they are up 14-7.
8 minutes ago, this was tweeted. Bowling Green 7, South Oldham 0 at the end of the 1st quarter.
Yeah, it's 10. They kicked a field goal in the first minute of the 2nd quarter. Yeah, so
that was quick.
That is that turned around quickly.
Yes, it did.
So if that holds and this holds, the Purples will be coming here next Friday night.
Who is Cal playing in 4A?
That is a good question.
Paducah Tillman. It looks like, because Cal's by far the favorite in 4A, and they're up only 16-10 at halftime. So a lot of great matchups tonight in Kentucky high school football.
And you think of rain and snow as the equalizer. You don't think of cold as the equalizer, but it can be.
It can be, man. especially when you got some hard-nosed kids, and sometimes the other team thinks I don't want to be out here. It's kind of like the old when Miami has to go play in the cold in bowl games. They almost never win because they're not used to it.
Exactly. Hey, Douglas just attempted a fake punt that failed, and Woodford has a chance to go in and score and take the lead going into the half.
Okay, so it's not halftime yet. That's good to know.
Wow. Things are getting interesting here. Now that one could totally turn around the second half. That one could end up 42-7.
Exactly, and I've seen that plenty of times. But that's at Douglas,
I mean,
Woodford County's.
I think that's all anybody. Let's just be brutally honest. That is all anybody from Scott County has been praying for all season, is that somebody else would take out Douglas. Now, up until this year, somebody has taken them out twice in the state finals,
yep.
But other times they had Southwestern was almost one of those teams in the pouring rain on a grass field and mud, and Douglas survived that one and then lost at Owensboro the next week. That might have been, was that back in the COVID season?
I think it was.
That was after the Thanksgiving game where they came in here and trounced Scott County.
Yeah, if you can get Douglas out of the way, I think every
other team thinks they can win and has a legitimate shot.
I agree with it. Yeah, I don't think anyone's.
I think if you had a Final Four of Scott County, Bowling Green, Woodford, and Owensboro, all four of those teams would have a case.
I agree. I don't know who this kid is down on the field, but he looks like he's maybe in 6th grade just throwing rockets out here. He's throwing, not that guy. This guy, the guy that just caught it, he is throwing beautiful bombs out here. But
there is
besides the point, I think anybody in 5A football, if Douglas loses, I think anybody can win, and I think every single one of them has a realistic, reasoning for thinking that.
That would be interesting.
Yes, it would. And if Woodford County can score right here to go into half, talk about the momentum. And that would give them the lead. How many times have they been down all year? That's a serious question. I don't think they have.
Woodford County got the ball to midfield with 42 seconds left and decided to run the clock out, and they had a timeout. So playing it conservatively.
Yeah, I don't know if
the Jackets.
I mean, you can look at it two ways. One, you're a big underdog. Don't try to shoot yourself in the foot. But on the other hand, you can say we're a big underdog. We need to do everything we can to try to win this game.
Let's not do anything dumb.
Right. And you also got to look at it as Douglas has a generational defense.
Oh.
So I can understand, especially if they were, not in the greatest circumstances of, hey, we've gotten it to this point. We just got a huge stop. Let's just go into halftime, feel good about ourselves.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think if you had offered Coach Johnson and the Jackets said earlier this week, hey, you'll get to halftime, be tied 7-7, they would take it and run.
No doubt.
So, absolutely.
I wonder how many fans Woodford County brought, because
that'll be the best attended game of
the week.
Think so. I would think in the entire state.
I mean, you got to think about it. One, it's pretty much a neighbor, and two, Woodford County hasn't been good in football in forever, and not only are they good, they're pretty dang great right now. So that's kind of like we mentioned earlier in 2004 when Scott County played Boone County to go to the state championship game. Scott County hadn't been good for a very long time, almost since those late 70s teams. And Coach McKee tells the story. They get off the bus at Toyota Stadium an hour and a half before the game, and it's completely packed, standing room only, an hour and a half before the game, So I think Woodford County's kind of in the same spot, but they just had to go on the road a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit of a short trip to Lexington to face the Broncos.
Talk about an upset.
I think getting it to 7-7 at halftime is an upset.
That's awesome.
It's something no team has even remotely threatened to do this year.
And they haven't trailed, have they? All year?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they might have trailed 7-0 to Covcath last week. I don't know, but anyway,
you were right. They scooped and scored 6-0.
That was close for a half. That was 14-6 at the half, I think. So this is,
and it ended up being 33-6.
Hey, look, playoff football is a different animal.
Yes,
we all know that.
And we've talked about it plenty of times. If you're going to beat Frederick Douglass, you're going to have to get some turnovers. You're going to have some luck, maybe on special teams.
Yeah, play a perfect game yourself.
Yeah, you can't turn it over. Regardless, you're listening to the Scott County game, caring about this.
Yeah,
so
we're killing time
just
here at
killing
halftime
time,
on a
right.
cold night, but it's fun to think about all the scenarios and what might happen next week. But let's talk about the second half because
Right.
we can't get ahead of
No, we
ourselves.
cannot.
22-8, Scott County. Bend but don't break has been the philosophy here so far. The Southwestern has had 3 series. Scott County's had 3 series. Cards have scored on all 3. Warriors scored on 1, threatened on the other 2. A couple of typical Scott County plays defensively by Adams and Valencia
Yeah.
really making the difference here.
I was just about to say that's what happens, Cal, when you have such great senior leadership on defense, and not just seniors, but Paul Gardner. He's a great leader.
Right.
You know,
4th-year junior.
right.
Valencia,
Luke
who's
Valencia
a true
is
junior.
a true junior. He plays his heart out there. You got Cam Keller up the middle, Jasanti Harmon, Elijah Adams. You know, Jackson Dameron started every game as a sophomore at safety and played great. Logan Jones is a senior out there. Buddy Collins is a sophomore. He's played great. You know, you got guys at all levels of grade-wise on that defense.
I mean, Dameron might be the reason we're here this week. He blocked a punt that was returned for a touchdown, then broke up a pass on 4th down, and when Highlands was driving at the end of the game.
So when you can get all those guys playing together, and, you know, that senior doesn't think he's way better than the sophomore, can just tell him what to do, when they can all play together and still have that good leadership, player-led leadership, with Coach Monty over top of it, that's a great recipe for stops. And that's what they've had all year, where they've, like you said, bend don't break. You know, they make the play when it's needed to be made. And that's why Scott County has won a lot of football games this year, and that's why they're in the position they are now. And that doesn't even include the offense that we, you know, and they've, like you said, they've scored every possession they've had, and they've looked great. But, you know, you've heard it a billion times, but, you know, champions are won on defense. People pay to watch offense. Championships are won on defense.
Defense is special teams, 9 times out of 10 will get it done for you.
And when like we talked about pregame, when all 3 phases of the game you play spectacularly, then you're going to win the football game, especially in high school football. If you can win all 3 phases of the game, you're going to win.
So right now, offensively, they're winning the battle. And defense, there haven't really been any special teams because there haven't been any kicking other than Rodriguez putting the ball in the end zone on 1 kickoff.
Yeah, Scott County hasn't been able
to
no
try punts,
to block
no
a punt,
PATs.
Right, or a PAT. So, and that's when they're at the best. That's what I'm going to look forward to in this second half. If Scott County can get a stop on the other side of the 50 where Southwestern feels like they have to punt, let's see what they can do to get after it. Because you go back there and you block a punt, scoop and score, this game might just go ahead and be over with.
Yeah.
But if Southwestern can keep moving the ball to where it's either going to be, you know, 4th down and they don't get it, or they go score a touchdown, this game could be the complete opposite in the other way. So
this first series is big.
Huge. And, you know, and we've seen it on both occasions with Scott County coming all the way back in the second half against Bryan Station, and we saw it with Catholic almost coming all the way back against us in the second half.
Right.
So you got to keep your foot on the gas if you're Coach McKee, and on defense if you're Coach Monty, you got to keep, like you said, maybe don't bend as much as they have been, but definitely don't break. And with the players we just talked about, I don't expect them to.
All gas, no brakes. We will see if the offense can continue. If the offense continues to be as efficient as it's been in the first half, Scott County wins this thing going away.
Right.
Because at this point, Southwestern hasn't stopped them yet.
Nope.
It hasn't really been close. There was a 4th down play, big 4th down conversion at one point on one of those series. But other than that.
And that's just, you know, pretty simple math, Cal. If Scott County scores every possession,
right,
there's
when
no
you've already
way
got
they can,
and when you've already got a 2 touchdown
right,
lead,
there's no
that's
way
lights
they can
out.
catch up. Exactly. So
a lot of things in the Cardinals' favor. 24 minutes from now, we will find out their fate as they look to win their first region championship in 4 years. Claimed the last one on the road 4 years ago. That earned them a home date in semi-state. They'll be trying to repeat that and come back here next week. And then maybe with any luck, we'll get that 70-degree weather without the thunderstorm at Kroger Field. And
that would be pretty nice, wouldn't it? And we were just talking about Douglas, you know. Heck, even if Douglas does lose, you still got Owensboro and Bowling Green and and all kind. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
and Woodford County. I mean, if they ended up beating them, that's the only team that's came close to beating them all year. Even if they do, so there's still plenty of teams out there in 5A that can all say, hey, we're going to win this state championship.
Yeah.
So no matter if Scott County can pull this off tonight or hold on, these next round and next round after that, if they can advance, is going to be complete battles.
10-7 Bryan Station at the end of the third against Trinity.
If they could hold on to
that would be an eye opener, and then, I mean that would surprise me almost as much. Not quite as much as a Woodford beating a Douglas, but it would be in the ballpark just because of what Trinity represents, the kind of teams, the kind of out-of-state teams they've beaten.
Yep.
Bryan Station's just kind of been under the radar. They started the season 0-3.
And everyone kind of wrote them off, and they haven't lost a game since.
No.
And I don't think it's been very close
No,
since.
they just played a brutal schedule. They started with Douglas. They played here in week 3.
And played Boyle County. Those
That's
were their first
the one
3
in between.
games.
Now,
Yep.
So there you go.
So, and let's be completely honest, Cal. They should have beat us.
No,
They were up 20-0 at halftime.
That should have been a done deal.
And we just completely fired back in the second half and got breaks and obviously give Scott County all the credit in the world for coming back. But Bryan Station's a good team, and they're obviously showing it tonight. I'm glad that we don't have to see them again with them being in 6A.
It's awfully nice being in 5A.
Yes, it
There have
is.
been some people, I don't know how it's going to shake out. There have been some people talking about maybe Scott County being in 4A. I don't know. I don't know the truth to that, or if they're just,
Yeah, I don't know
smoking
about
their
that.
breakfast or
I
something.
definitely know that.
I know that Douglas and Great Crossing are
are
bound for
going up to
6A, and that's
6A,
really, if you're a Scott County fan, those are the two things that that's all that really matters.
Yep.
You wouldn't have to worry about a couple of rivalry games.
Another good
Rodriguez putting the ball in the corner on the kickoff inside the 10. Good head of steam though to the 35 before running out of bounds is Hibbert.
Yeah, the coverage on that left side just really didn't get down there. They got down on the right. I'm not sure if Rodriguez was supposed to kick it to the right side there or what, but nonetheless, ran him out of bounds at the 35. Again, huge possession here for both sides of the ball.
Yeah, if you're the Scott County defense, you got to make a statement here. And if you're Southwestern's offense, they really, with their backs to the wall down 16-0, have mixed it up ever since.
Here's the thing. If you're Scott County defense, you can, like you said, make a statement here. But if you're Southwestern, you go down and score a touchdown, you're only down 1 possession at that point, early in the third quarter.
Straight ahead, met hard up the middle. Is that Adams again?
I don't think it could be anybody else.
I would bet on it as he gets up and just looks down.
Yes, it is.
And
who's down?
Somebody from, is that a Scott County?
That's a Scott County player. That's not good.
That is motionless.
Yeah, they're just kind of laying there.
Yeah, that's one of those that it's almost like knocked out. And you just hope it's nothing serious.
Yeah, the way Dan's kind of down there in his face makes you think that it's got to be a head.
It kind of had the Tua look, where his arm was not shaking, but straight up.
I think that's Jasanti Harmon again, Cal.
Well, I hope it's not it could be the shoulder.
If it's the shoulder again, and he's just in a lot of pain,
that could be it.
I could be wrong about that, but I don't see Jasanti over here. Do you?
No, unless that's him on a knee. No, I think that's Adams.
Oh no, I see Jasanti now, so I'm not sure who that is laying down. Either way, it's terrible, but with the injury that Jasanti's been battling, it's good to see that it's not him.
I don't want to speculate. I'm trying to look at the players in the huddle, and
it's not Cam Keller because I see him.
Okay, that was my next question.
I think it's a defensive lineman. So it's not Jasanti and it's not Cam Keller. It really only leaves a couple more people.
And the player is still down.
Yeah, but again, you don't want to guess in a situation like this.
One of the trainers was kind of reaching for a foot. I don't know if you want to.
He was, when he first was laying down, he was moving his legs, so that's good. But since then, he's kind of just laid there.
It was a violent collision in the middle. I thought it was Adams hitting the ball carrier.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's who made the tackle because I feel like that was a little away from the football. I think it might have happened during, the play away from the football.
It was the first play of this opening drive of the second half, and now we were all kind of waiting, worried about the welfare of the Scott County player that is still on the turf. They are certainly taking their time.
Did he set up, hasn't he?
I don't think,
No,
yeah,
he's
still
still
Dan
laying
is still down
yeah.
there. Nope, now they're getting him to a seated position, and we will see.
Obviously, that's great to see, because if it was really, spine or something like that,
they wouldn't have him sitting up.
Right, they wouldn't have him sitting up. Obviously you don't want anything with a head, but maybe he just, really has his bell rung right now.
He is on his feet.
Oh, that's
is that Kareem Graham Bowie?
Yes, it is.
Or Graham Bowe. We've done 13 games now. We haven't completely confirmed the pronunciation of Kareem's name. We apologize, but he is certainly. And then they go slap him on the helmet, which I'm not sure is the right thing right now.
It definitely looks like that's what it was. Just really got his bell rung.
When he got hit, I saw his left arm kind of like sticking straight up in the air, like you see sometimes on TV, and it's just not good.
It is great to see that he's walking up.
I'm thankful that he's on his own feet and walking away. 2nd and 6, back to action, following his blockers and leaning toward the stick, but not quite getting there. It'll be short about 1.5 yards.
Yeah, I was going to say about 3rd and 2. Looks like almost exactly.
Christian Walden.
Yeah.
Garner on the stop. They'll mark it at the 43, 3rd and 2.
This is one of those right here where you kind of have to have like another Elijah Adams where he just shoots through the hole, because the way they just push the pile, 2 yards seems
that was
very
just
gettable.
A great anticipation play on Adams' part. They'll get the first down here, as moving forward is right.
That's what's so difficult about both of these offenses. When it gets to 3rd and short, it's so dang hard to stop both offenses, because even if you kind of stop them at the line, the way the momentum goes and the pile gets pushed, they're almost going to get 2 to 3 yards almost every time.
Southwestern first down at its own 48, 10:43 in running, 3rd quarter.
Right. That's why for both of these defenses, it's so important to get them to 3rd and, medium or long, just so they can get out of those plays.
Not much there as Keller meets Wright in the middle.
Was that Keller or Daff?
Well, maybe it was Daff. We said Daff, it is 51.
Yep.
I'm just seeing the big body flying in there from the center.
Daniel Daff.
From the nose, but it was Daff. You said he'd be playing some defense. We saw him down on the goal line at Highlands last week, but here he makes a stop at midfield to contain Wright to 2, 2nd and 8.
Great play. And he didn't get pushed around. He threw him straight to the ground right there.
Daff may be in there because of the injury to Graham, as there's the second man through. And Adams will help make the gang tackle.
Again, going to be about
on Walden.
3rd and 3 right
here?
They
get it to the 45, so it's 3rd and 3. And Southwestern's kind of beating Scott County at its own game right now in that 3rd and short, like you said.
Again, right here, you kind of maybe a false start, or if I'm Coach Monty, I bring the blitz right here.
Bring some heat.
Right, because he's shown you that his arm's not very strong. You got Paul Gardner over top and man-to-man on the outside. You should be fine.
Straight ahead, right. I think he might be a little bit short where they're marking him.
About 1.5 yards short, actually.
And now you'll be 4th and 1. Keller came flying in there. That time it definitely was Keller.
Again, Cal, I'm going straight back to right there.
4th and 1. It's Elijah Adams' time, isn't it?
I'm playing bump and run on the outside and bringing the house regardless. Maybe you keep Paul Gardner over top, but outside of that, I'm bringing both linebackers on the outside and bringing Elijah Adams up the middle.
Huge play in this region championship football game. 4th and 1 at the Scott County 43. 8:47 to play, 3rd quarter. Cards up 22-8. Oliver trying the hard count. Scott County won't bite. They'll pitch it right. Getting chased and not getting there before he gets the first down, as Braxton Walters got a little second wind and cross the 40 to the 35, and the Warriors will continue their drive.
Yeah, that was just so close. They strung it out great. There just wasn't that last man to force him back in, and he got the edge for a first down.
Warriors are smart there. I think if they went strength against strength, the cards had shown that
Right.
it was going to be tough. 3rd and 2 is 4th and 1 is different and more difficult than 3rd and 2 for some reason.
Yep. Because they know if they don't get it, it's the
Exactly.
other team's ball.
Curtains.
Ooh.
And another hard hit, but bouncing off of it and across the 30 is Tanner Wright. Man, these backs just do not go down
No,
easily.
they don't. They are very tough, hard runners. And that's twice, though, that Elijah Adams come in the hole and blasted a guy, but he just hasn't wrapped up at all, and he's bounced off.
They're not tall, but they run tall.
Right.
You know, Tanner Wright's 5'10", and Walden's listed at 5'9", but they look a lot different than that.
Yeah.
They look wiry.
As great of a tackler as Elijah Adams is, he maybe just not be as hard hitting, maybe just try to get him down to the ground here.
Counter, first down across the 25. It's Braxton Walters again.
Well, we talked about at halftime how much they've been bend, don't break. This is a prime example of are they going to be a bend or break right here? Because they've obviously let them go on a long drive right here, taking a lot of time off the clock.
This is the part of the field where the Cardinals have made both their stops tonight.
Right.
It's 1st and 10 at the 24. Southwestern's drained almost the first 5 minutes of the 3rd quarter here. They trail 22-8.
Yeah, if you could get a stop, that's so demoralizing for Southwestern because, like you said, they just took all that time off the clock.
And a lot of room off left tackle, but it closes up at the 20.
And obviously the clock is not in their favor right now with being down 2 scores. So if you take all this time off the clock and then get nothing out of it, you really just killed yourself in essence.
2nd and 6. Clock ticks down inside of 6:45 now. Cards have yet to see the ball here in the second half.
Yeah, this is more.
They've only had the ball 3 times all night.
Exactly. This is more of a Scott County drive. You know, in some weird way, I bet Coach McKee's kind of happy that they're taking this much time off the clock.
Again, the second man through and bouncing to the right for another first down is Tanner Wright. And it will be 1st and goal as he crosses the 10.
Yeah. Because as you've mentioned, Southwestern hasn't stopped Scott County one time tonight. So if they keep taking all this time off, you know, I think Coach McKee believes we're going to take plenty of time off and we're going to go score and go back up 2 scores no matter what.
And then by then it'll be the fourth quarter.
It'll be the 4th quarter, right? So, like I said, obviously he doesn't want them to score or anything, but I think he kind of likes this time.
He'll let him eat up 6 or 7 minutes. Big hole off right tackle, tripped up just shy of the goal line is Tanner Wright, but the Warriors are closing in.
Yeah, that's too much right there. Now holes are starting to opening up. I think Scott County's defense is getting a little tired right now.
Marked at the 2. They have used up half the quarter. 6 minutes to play in the 3rd. Scott County nursing a 22-8 lead.
You know, and on the flip side, you take all this time off and then you make it a 1-possession game, you're feeling pretty good if you're Southwestern. So this could completely go 2 different ways.
Roger Oliver under center. They're in the wishbone. And they hand it off and a walk-in.
Great drive by Southwestern.
5:41 to play in the 3rd quarter, and Southwestern cuts the lead in half. Tanner Wright with the 2-yard run. And we'll see if they kick it. They do. This will be a chance to block a PAT for the first time tonight.
Left-footed
left-footed kicker.
Yeah, you don't see this very often.
Colin Burton, the holder. Low snap. He punches it through.
Man. Scott County got through middle and outside. I can't believe they didn't block that there.
They got there, as they usually do, but it is 22-15. New ball game here with 5:41 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Yep. It's going to be a huge drive for Scott County's offense. Huge.
Cards will have the ball for only the 4th time all night. 22-15, the odd score here midway through the third quarter, as the Cards have been in command throughout, but for the second time, the Warriors close within a touchdown. We'll try to continue to update the scores, as I'm sure they're getting ready to start the second half if they haven't already over in Lexington. Jones and Brown back to receive the kick. Douglas goes 3 and out to start the second half. Surprise onside, and guess what?
Unbelievable.
Nobody, no black shirt within a mile.
That's exactly what you couldn't afford there if you were Scott County.
And now it's essentially a triple possession that they've given themselves.
Wow. Scott County might not touch it till the fourth quarter, Cal.
Got to get a defensive stop here. And the problem is your defense has been on the field for 6.5 minutes, and now they don't get a rest.
Exactly. And some of them might not got any rest because you want your best players on special teams right there.
A lot of guys playing both ways, playing all three phases, and now Southwestern has it again at the Scott County 49. Backs to the wall now for the first time all night. And they string it out and nicely make an ankle tackle to stop Christian Walden for a gain of only 1. Blair was there along with Keller. Clock continues to run. 5:15 to play, third quarter. Cards by 7 in a game that has been as advertised in terms of long drives and fast moving. They'll throw it. Oliver, left flat, sideline, complete, first down. Catch made by Hibbert at the Scott County 37.
Yeah, that was just a good cutoff route there. Made Logan Jones think he was running a go route right there and just cut it off to the sideline for a quick first down.
They'll mark it at the 38, but it's a first down nonetheless. 4:51 to play. Third period. Southwestern doing what you got to do on the road when you're down, taking some chances, making it pay off. Oliver changing the play, walking over to his tight end. Now he'll snap it, hand it off. Not much there up the middle for Wright. Gain of maybe 2. Nope, 1. They'll mark it at the 37, 2nd and 9. And that's what Scott County hasn't been able to do for a while.
Yeah, you're not going to run for a lot of yards when you go straight at Keller and Harmon on the same side.
Nope, you're taking your odds are pretty limited there. Oliver rolls to his right. Got rid of it, had to get rid of it quickly, putting his head down after the reception, but getting right to the marker. Looked like Hibbert again. So first down at the 28. Maddox Mink on the reception, senior tight end.
I've been very impressed with Southwestern's play calling, especially in the second half.
Now, if you're Southwestern, you score, do you go for 2 and try to take the lead here? Start to got to think about that sort of thing. Getting away from the first tackle and into the second level. I think that's Mink again to the 16. And get him off the field. He has been trouble on the last 2 plays.
It's tough on the Scott County defense. Like you talked about, they've been on the field the entire second half.
We're down to 3:30, and the Scott County defense has been out there for the entire, you said it, second half and the final 5 or 6 minutes of the second quarter. I mean, this has been a long stretch.
And they have the momentum going against them. So
right up the middle against that beleaguered defense, and just pushing the pile is Right. Down inside the 5 to the 2. Southwestern is taking control of this game, folks. They'll mark it at the 3. The crowd from Pulaski County getting into it. The Card fans trying to get their defense fired up, but that defense needs a break. Turnover would be beautiful right here.
That's a false
There's
start.
a lot of movement, and we'll see who they call it on. Scott County thinks it's going to back up Southwestern. Southwestern thinks it's going the other way.
They called a false start there, so giving Scott County's defense a little
breather,
room,
a little
right.
break,
A little
bit of space. They'll back it up to the 8.
And Southwestern just hasn't had any confidence most of this game, and now they've gotten it here. So they have confidence, momentum, and just the legs right now because like you mentioned, Scott County's defense has been out there the entire second half.
And now their defense has been cold on the other side, but so has Scott County's offense. And we mean literally cold. And they're on the counterplay, tripped up at the 1, saving the touchdown. Was it Garner? Trying to see who it was getting off the pile. And he's gimpy. He's limping around as he got his lower body tangled up there. Hope he can shake it off. Inside the 1.
Yeah, it looks like about on the inch line right here.
And they'll have 3 chances to punch it in from there and then see if they go for the tie or the lead. Roger Oliver will just sneak it. 1:57 to play. Warriors within 1. What do you do? And that's the third. What to play in the third quarter? We should reiterate. Long way to go.
I would kick the extra point, but it doesn't look like they're going to.
You've got all the momentum right now. We've used that word, and it is accurate.
But with all that momentum, you could very easily lose the lead here by trying to get too greedy with it.
I was going to say, you've got everything going your way, and how much of a shot in the back would it be, a kick in the fanny, if you didn't come out of it with at least a tie?
And they are going for 2. As bad as these drives have been, if you get a stop right here, it'd be...
They'll run a toss, and he will get second effort, got him in. Second effort got Tanner Wright into the end zone, and the Warriors have taken the lead. What a turn of events here, folks. 2 long drives sandwiched around an onside kick recovery. The Southwestern Warriors are on top, 23-22.
Nothing really you can say here, Cal. Just all the momentum's with Southwestern right now, and Scott County has to answer. We've seen how resilient this team has been all year.
Scott County needs a Scott County drive. And Bryan Station has defeated Trinity 10-7.
Wow.
Congratulations to the defenders going to semi-state for, I don't know if that's the second year in a row or the second time in the past 3 years, but they have started to make a habit of it.
It's got to be one of the all-time great wins in their history.
That is certainly the biggest in my time here.
If you're this front line for Scott County, you got to be super alert. Don't put it past them. They'll do it again.
I would say so. 1:57 to play in the third quarter, and we're fixing, hopefully, to see the Scott County offense for the first time in a while, in about an hour. They'll squib it, pick it up at the 30, 35, and running out of bounds smartly, I think.
I think it was Thomas Fikert, though. Yeah, that's your running back, so that's a good person to have it in his hands. You got good field position.
That offense is raring to go.
And they got a little, distaste in their mouth here.
A little chip on their shoulder. They are 3 for 3 tonight. That's the good news.
The last time they touched the football, they were up 2 scores. Now they're down. So
it's a different feeling. They've they've been able to dictate things. Exactly. Hughley. Yeah, I thought that was a face mask. We didn't see a flag. We haven't seen many tonight other than on false starts. He leaned forward and got back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it. 2nd and 10. A little sweep of the arm. Looked like it might have got him on the face mask. Could have been on the shoulder pad.
Yeah, the Scott County crowd is screaming face mask. They are not very happy right now.
They'll run a toss to the right. Not a lot there. Hughley will try to cut it back inside and get a couple. 3rd and long.
If you're Scott County, you can't panic here. You have the whole 4th quarter. You have a minute left in the 3rd. You're down 1 point. You have great field position right now. Just continue running your offense. They haven't stopped you one time all game, and I think they'll be completely fine. You just can't panic here if you're Scott County.
And a timeout, Southwestern.
That's a weird call.
Interesting. They saw something they didn't like.
Maybe,
they wanted their guys to be alert.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, especially when you know you're probably going to need them late in this game, and it's 3rd and long. That's an interesting call. But like you said, you'd rather be in the right positioning there on a big 3rd down than give up an easy 1st down or maybe even a touchdown if they saw something very bad.
Bowling Green 24, South Oldham 7. Less than a minute to play in the first half there. Haven't seen anything from Owensboro and was it Fairdale?
I believe so.
Haven't seen that one yet. Big play, big spot for the Cardinals. They are suddenly down 23-22. They have it on their own 37, 3rd and 8. Hickey to throw. Has time. Finds his man. Daquise Brown. 1st down. Southwestern 45. Big play, Cardinals.
That was a great job by Hickey to allow the play to develop for DeQuise to get open. But that was also a great job by Scott County's offensive line to give him time to let it develop. Now they're going a little hurry up right here. I love it.
Tempo. 19-yard gain. And Fryman up the middle inside the 40 for a gain of 5.
There you go. Now keep that momentum going here.
Once again, tripped up is Fryman, a couple of yards shy of the stick, 3rd and 2.
But just like we talked about with Southwestern, having these offenses in 3rd and very short puts a lot of stress on that defense because even if you get that stop on 3rd down, you know that offense is going to run another play on 4th down. So Scott County has 2 plays here to get about 2 yards. We're going to go.
That'll be the final play of the 3rd quarter.
Yep.
We'll see the dance team here. And Scott County will talk it over. They will have 3rd and 2 at the Southwestern 36 when we come back. Listening to the remix of Another One Bites the Dust and try to figure out who it is. It does sound like Weird Al.
Looks like in the Douglas game, still 7-7 in the 3rd. I believe Douglas still has the ball, though.
Been a couple of fruitless possessions there early from what I can tell in the half. Cards at the Warriors 36, 3rd and 2, 12 minutes to play. Will it be 12 minutes on the season or 12 minutes to another home game on leftover turkey night? And movement.
Start. See, now that completely changes.
For the 3rd time tonight, Scott County jumps early, and this time is the costliest yet. Now you're in 4-down territory anyway, but now you've got 2 plays to pick up 7 yards instead of 2.
I would say on one of these, we'll see the reverse counter here, maybe to Thomas Fikert.
Yeah, I haven't seen Fikert yet in this half. He runs in motion,
not
so
gonna
we
be on
won't
this
see him
one.
here. It'll be Hughley. Hughley has the corner, and there's going to be a hold.
Wow.
So this drive has gone haywire.
Hasn't been too many penalties this game outside of a few false starts. We've had 2 to start this fourth quarter. Now you might have to open up the playbook a little bit.
You're going to have to throw it on one of these downs.
Right.
Probably now to pick up something to make it manageable.
You do have, man-to-man out here with DeQuise Brown just all by himself. No safety over top.
And a bobbled snap, and it's going to be 4th and forever. For the first time all night, did they turn it over?
No, I think Hickey got back
okay,
on
this ref was signaling like, okay, and the Cards are going to punt.
Well, that went from a short 3rd and 2 to...
And now your defense has got to make a stop.
Yep. Yes, they do. Good news is there's still 11 minutes left in this fourth quarter. But like you said, you're going to have to come up with a huge stop here. Good snap.
Rodriguez aims for the corner.
He got it off.
It takes not much of a roll and will die at the 30-yard line of Southwestern.
Yeah, not a good bounce there for Scott County.
You need a quick stop if you're Scott County. 10:51 to play in the game, at least in regulation. Warriors 23, Cardinals 22. Cal Oaks along with Sam Sutton. This one has turned Southwestern's way since halftime. That was the first time we had seen the Scott County offense, and it fizzled. 3rd and 2, a threat into Southwestern territory, but it died with a couple of penalties. Defense has made a couple of stops for Scott County tonight, but they need one badly here to have a chance to win this one. Not much left tackle on first down. Gain of maybe 3.
Yeah, I gave him a great spot.
Yeah, the thing about these Southwestern backs is they
run hard.
Get a lot of forward momentum. They get the benefit of the doubt. Jones and Adams made the stop on right at the 33, 2nd and 7.
Scott County kind of needs the same fortune that just went against them. Maybe get a holding call, maybe a false start. Because the way both these offenses go, if you just give up 3 to 4 yards each play, they're just going to keep driving the ball.
Oh, there's a collision in the backfield. The quarterback, and he was trying to make the handoff, and the exchange was bobbled, and Oliver had to fall on it. And you just said needed a break, and they got one. Now it's 3rd and 11.
Now this is the time that you have to come up and make a huge stop here, because if you can get a stop here, you got to think Southwestern is going to try to punt. But it's going to be about 3rd and 11 here.
It wasn't a penalty, but it was the break the Cardinals may have needed there to create the first negative down and distance situation in a long time for the Warriors.
Southwestern goes empty.
Empty. 3 to the right side. Different quarterback in there. Coming at him. Sack. Who got him? Was it Killer?
I believe it was. Cam Keller. DeSanti Harmon forced him up in the pocket on the outside. He just completely whipped his man. And once he stepped up in the pocket, Cam Keller came across with a huge sack. And that forces a punt now. And we talked about it at halftime, Cal. Scott County's been so great at blocking punts, but they haven't had the opportunity to.
Oh, this would be the time.
This would be the time to do it. And if you don't get the block, set up that picket fence for Logan Jones right here.
Mink to kick it. They set up the return.
Might just want to get away from this one.
It takes a Southwestern roll, picked up at the 35. Risky for Logan Jones, who Always seems to be in the middle of that
Yes, he
risk-taking
does.
mode, but he is knocked down at the 36. The Cards have 8 minutes and 26 seconds to go 64 yards. I would love it if they could use up about 7.5 of those minutes.
Yeah, Scott County's defense did their job right there. They got the stop they needed, gave this offense plenty of time to go on a drive. Now it's up to the Scott County offense. See if they can go.
This is only their second
Right.
possession of the half. They were stymied on the first one by penalties.
Right. See if they can go about 65 yards right here for 6.
Fryman. Nope, they run it left again. They fake it to Fryman. They give it to Hughley, and Hughley got tripped up. And if he hadn't gotten tripped up, he'd still be going.
Yep.
He had all kinds of room on the left side because most of the Southwestern defense was as keyed on Fryman as I was. Gain of 3. My goodness.
He made that cut. I thought he was going to get through, and the guy got him by the shoelace there.
They give it to the second man through. It's Fikert, and that didn't fool the Warriors. Big hit by Mink. 3rd and 7.
Southwestern has definitely made an adjustment on defense in this second half. Now, it definitely helps that they've had the momentum, but
their defense is well rested.
Right, and Scott County was kind of just going through them like butter in the first half, and they've been in third and long twice now. Those plays that were going for 7 to 10 yards are now going for 1.
Big play for the Cards. 7:20 to go in the game. Hickey throws it. He's held. No call. The receiver just got taken down at the 45-yard line, and no call.
Scott County's going to punt.
I got nothing.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is that they're saying the ball was
too
short.
It wasn't tipped.
No, it wasn't, but yeah.
Rodriguez to kick for the second consecutive time.
That was a better punt there. Let's see if they
it takes a good Scott County roll inside the 25 to the 23. The defense has to get another stop. 7:01 left.
You definitely didn't expect Scott County to go 3 and out right there, especially the way this offense has been clicking tonight.
The offense has gone cold for Scott County. We haven't seen many 3 and outs in a long time in this 7-game run that the Cards have been on. But now they're asking the defense to do it one more time. A defense that's been on the field for most of this second half. And then you're battling the clock. Cards have all 3 of their timeouts. They got to save some for offense. Toss play left. Right has the corner pushed out of bounds.
See where they mark him out.
27, 28.
Well, they just keep walking forward.
27. Gain of 3. 2nd and 7. Pretty good spot if you're the Cards, I think. And they only use 6 seconds.
Yeah, I was about to say, and he forced out, so that's big. You don't have to waste the time out there.
Second man through. Good pursuit by the Cardinals to shut it down right at the line of scrimmage. They might have leaned forward for a yard.
Yep. It's about 3rd and 5, I believe. 3rd and 7. No.
They gave him the 29, which means it's 3rd and 5.
Yeah, 3rd and 5.
And that surprises me a little bit. 6:30 and counting.
You got to watch the ball here for Scott County. And again, maybe a false start here, a hold, or just a good old-fashioned stop right here.
Scott County almost jumped again. Almost jumped the second time.
Looks like that was Southwestern's play. Let's see.
Southwestern ticking down to 5-4-3. Now they snap it. They run a counter, and they get the first down. Bouncing off tacklers.
That's a hard runner.
And still running. Welded across the 50.
I can't believe he didn't step out.
That's the highlight film of the night if Southwestern goes on to win this.
And that 2-point conversion could be costly.
Yeah, it's been a battle of PATs at this point.
Because instead of this game being tied up, now you're down 1. And they could just run this clock out. But you still got time. Still
3 timeouts.
Yeah, you got 3 timeouts. It's 5:56 on the clock. You still have time to get a stop here and get your offense the ball back.
Straight ahead, Mink across the 45 to the 43.
It ain't going to happen, though, if they just keep getting chunk plays here.
5:45 and counting. Ball's marked at the 44. 2nd and 6. Southwestern using the play clock, every bit of it.
And if Scott County could get the ball back, at least we haven't seen the kicker tonight, so that would be, that'd be huge.
You think they got to score a touchdown.
Right.
Again, left side, stood up. Big tackle there to keep it at 3rd and short. That may have been a product of what Coach McKee said. I think Southwestern just goes for 2 every time. So he may have thought he needed to play that game right out of the gate.
Right.
But it's hard to tell.
That Southwestern O-line has been getting a lot of push in the second half, and especially on this drive.
3rd and 3. Clock ticking down below 4:30 to play. Agonizingly. Second man through. Walden again makes a couple of Cardinals miss. And now time is short. Cards have all 3 timeouts, but again,
they might need to start using them right here. It's not going to matter, though, if they can't get a stop.
No, the defense has not been able to get off the field in this second half. Partially on its own and partially because of that onside kick. There's a nice play to keep it to no gain. A flag comes in from the side.
Let's hope that's illegal motion and it's not offsides. I think they would have blown it dead, though, if it was offsides.
Yeah, they are marking it against Southwestern. So that's a small break.
And, of course, it would be the one time Scott County
makes a stop at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Clock stops at 3:50.
Scott County's going to take it. It was an illegal shift is what it was.
Marked back to the 41, so it's 1st and 15 from there.
I still just think if you're Scott County, you really just got to almost kind of bring whatever you got. If they play action on you, you just got to trust your DBs and man-to-man coverage. But you can't just keep letting them run it down your throat here. There they go. Well,
quarterback keeper. It's kind of a wildcat situation. They've utilized at least 3 different quarterbacks tonight. Mason Hibbard, who caught the touchdown pass to start the game, lined up at QB that time, just kept it around the left side, got all the way to the 30. That's a gain of 11 for 2nd and 4. Not that it matters if the Cards don't score in the next 3:23, but Frederick Douglass goes to the 4th quarter up 14-7 over Woodford County. But the Cards, to extend their season, need to get a stop. They need a turnover, really. The only good news there is Hibbard ran out of bounds, didn't cost them a timeout. The clock is stopped at 3:23. Second effort, stopped.
3rd down.
Only a gain of about 1. 3rd and 3. I think maybe you try to save it.
Yep. Now, if they do get this first down, Cal, at what point do you just let them score and try to get your offense the ball
But
back?
then you got to stop the PAT, right?
That's right. But I would rather, come down to one play and get your offense the ball back than just let them run this clock out. But it's a huge third down right here.
And if you're
We don't
Southwestern, do you have the presence of mind to take a knee before you get in the end zone?
Right.
All kinds of things that work there. Leaning forward, I think they're going to mark it short.
I mean, it looks like maybe a
Right
half a
there
yard.
is Braxton Walters. He's been the secret weapon on third down for much of the night. It's been Christian Walden lately.
Scott County does call their timeout, one of their timeouts.
You just need someone to shoot a gap here, preferably number 56. It's going to be a similar situation as the first half, right about at the same yard marker at the 27 on 4th and 1. 2:32 to play.
I mean, I've been saying it, but even more, I think you just completely have to sell out right here. I mean, you almost have no other option. It's about, 4th and less than a yard. They might even just go quarterback sneak here. But this is where you got to rely on a Cam Keller, how strong he is to maybe push that center back in the backfield and give your defensive line some push to where Elijah Adams and those linebackers can get through a hole and make a play in the backfield here. But if not, Sky County is going to have a very, very tough.
It's a long hill to climb from there. Only 2 timeouts. Play of the season right here. You just got to guess right as far as who's going to get the ball.
You got to guess, but you also got to watch this ball.
Yeah, they could easily just. It's
get
Hibbard lined
sides.
up at quarterback again. They try the roll over and play dead move. It's a toss to Walden. Stopped! Second
they
effort.
Might give him the second effort. Depends on where they stop him. Looks like they're giving it to Scott County.
They're giving it to Scott County. Cardinal ball, 2:25 to play. Wow. I didn't see who got him.
They're trying to talk about it, but the Scott County's ball. The referee on their sideline never even questioned it. Had him short the whole time. Scott County has life with 2:25 left.
2:25 to go.
And with 2 timeouts.
Their own 27. They've got to go 73 yards other than kicking a field goal.
Again, you got one-on-one out here. At what point do you just try to throw a go route and get a chance here?
Busted play as Hickey just keeps it and leans forward and doesn't get anything.
You can't have that there.
Just missed the handoff. At least he didn't take a sack.
Yeah. I mean, but a gain of 1 does you no good with 2 minutes.
It wasn't even a gain of 1. It was nothing. It's a neutral play.
Exactly. You got
clock ticking, 2:06, 2:05. Sweep. Nothing there. Hughley stopped. 3rd and 10. Got to call a timeout now.
It doesn't look like they're going to.
When do you pull out the hitch and pitch?
Right here. I think I'd do it right here. But they ran the exact same play that they tried to run the first time, and it just went really nowhere. You got 1:30.
Here it is.
Here it is.
The pitch is high. They get not the first down, but they get knocked down at the 34. It'll be 4th and 3. So it gave them a chance.
It did. Timeout. That was it was a bad throw right there. It was really low. And DeQueese had to come back to it and catch it at his shoelaces. It was kind of a miracle they even pulled it off there. But on 4th down, I would expect just the Isaac York over the middle, set up, catch it. And then after that, that's when you try to get creative and start throwing it down the field.
About that kind of counter crisscross with Fikert we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I do like that play, and they've ran that on some big fourth downs and third downs. But
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's got to be whatever's your the best thing
Right.
left in your playbook.
everyone can be an armchair quarterback right
Yeah,
now.
I mean
But
that
I think this is just a very tough spot here.
the hitch and pitch was set up. It's just as you said, the throw was a little bit off and the exchange was a little bit off. I think you're right. Maybe the throw to York to extend the game and then go from there. Nope. Hickey has to get rid of it. He's going to get sacked, and the season is over, folks. Southwestern, the Cardinals can only stop it once, and they are going to kneel on a 23-22 victory. Tough one to swallow here as the Cards were in control for the first half. It all turned on a long drive and then an onside kick that kept the defense on the field for the entire just about third quarter. Barring a turnover, which I don't think they're going to do anything but get in victory formation here. Southwestern probably to host Bowling Green next week. For the Cards, a great season ends at 11-2. Here's the final timeout. 1:10 left. They'll have to kneel on it twice. All season long, special teams has been Scott County's best friend tonight. Southwestern made the big play on special teams. It is very likely going to advance the Warriors to the Final Four.
Yeah, just a very tough way to lose this football game. They were just complete control the whole first half. And it just seemed like they just could never get that momentum back in the second half.
Warriors will have to exchange it, kneel on it twice here, as we said. And there's the first. One more snap. Ball's on the ground. Man, that was close if you're a Warriors follower. But they will begin the celebration as they fall on it. Cards can't stop it. Clock will run down to all zeros. Couple of Cardinals on their knees hitting the turf in frustration because they know this one was within reach. Region champions from the East, the Southwestern Warriors out of Pulaski County. They improved to 13-0 with by far their toughest win of the year, 23-22 over the Scott County Cardinals. Disappointing end, but what a journey it's been, Sam. This season, certainly a bounce back year for these guys. And if anybody thought the Cardinals weren't going to be on the map for the long term, they're sadly mistaken.
Yeah, very, very tough way to go out. You never want to look ahead in situations like this, but Scott County does have some young talent, but you just feel horrible for these seniors and guys like Elijah Adams that came back for another year to go chase a state championship, and for it to end like this, it's just very tough to swallow. I've been in their shoes, and some of the worst pain you'll ever have. But like you said, they've had a great year, and they should be proud of themselves.
Yeah, I mean it's there's no note of finality quite like that last game in high school football is for a lot of these kids, if not most, the vast majority of them. This is the final time they strap it up and go to battle. Been a great season. We've been glad to bring it to you folks, whether it's been Scott County, whether it's been Great Crossing here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. We will transition to basketball very soon as this coming Tuesday night, Reed Shepherd and the North Laurel Jaguars will come to town. The UK signee will play against Great Crossing. That's a 6 o'clock start on Tuesday. Keith Greiser and I will have it for you. Then the Battle of the Birds girls the week after that, Monday after Thanksgiving, will tip off the regular season. We got a lot of big basketball coming. The Billy Hicks Classic early in December. So please do join us here, whether it's on NFHS or at newsgraphic.com. For Sam Sutton, for James Scoggin, for Mike Scoggin, for DT Wells, Brett Smith, who was with us for much of the year, I'm merely Cal Oaks. Saying good night, God bless, happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year, folks. Your final score for the final time, Southwestern 23, Scott County 22. Good night, everybody.